They say you are what you eat, so I don't eat chicken feet. But I love me some of Grandma's pickled beets. Well, cut it up, put it in the pan, throw it over your shoulder and see where it lands right here in Farmer's Kitchen. Maters, taters, beans and corn, the cows in the barn and the sheep's been shorn, kids in the barnyard chasing Grandpa's chicken. Chicken. Spices, slices, cuts and dices, gonna slash your grocery prices right here in Farmer's Kitchen. Help you grow your garden good with recipes to suit your mood. Try some grub you've never tried before. Smash it with a wooden mallet, gonna educate your palate. Right here in Farmer's Kitchen, in Tim Farmer's Country Kitchen. We're gonna cook something good now.
Hello and welcome to the Farmer's Kitchen. We're the farmers.
That's right.
We're blue.
You
look amazing in your blue sweater tonight.
I like your blue.
Well, thank you very much. Hey, if you will, go ahead and roll my sleeve up because we're about to get to work here.
Alrighty.
You only have to roll up one. Think of all the time we save by you not having to roll my other sleeve up.
That's wonderful.
It's amazing. We had somebody from California the other day ask us to do
Chicken and dumplings.
And I thought, you have got to be kidding me. Here we are, a country kitchen, and we have not shown. That's bad. And that's just mean, holding off a Southern classic.
That's right.
And let me tell you what, I've spent time and effort and energy trying to get the perfect chicken and dumplings.
You got it.
And you know what? I used to make it for the girls years ago, and I kind of forgot how I did it, and I make squirrel and dumplings and all kinds of wonderful. And it's a very simple recipe, but there's one thing you cannot skimp on. You know what that is?
What's that?
Fresh chicken.
That's right.
You gotta have a fresh chicken. You can't get store-bought chicken broth, or you're gonna be disappointed.
Right.
Especially after you try it with the fresh chicken.
Oh, yeah.
So tonight, we're gonna make you, wow, top secret
It's so good.
chicken and dumplings.
So good.
We ate some the other night, and it's just, it's wonderful. Now, there are many ways you can make your dumplings. We're gonna make them the way we like them. Dad and his southern friends call them slickums.
Slickums?
Slickums. Now, Mom likes them fluffy and dry in the middle. I like the slickums. And
Okay,
we're gonna show you how to kind of do one in between too. All right, so the first thing we got to do is we're going to get about 6 cups of water. Okay, so we're going to get this chicken boiling. Now, a chicken about this size, 4.5 pounds, going to do it for about 90 minutes.
Okay.
That's the magic number. Let's see where that takes the water level when we drop this cat in here. All right, I'll tell you what, I'm going to put 2 more cups in here. Let's make that about 8 cups. Now, I want to end up with 8 cups.
All right.
6 to 8 cups is where I want to end up. That means you're going to have to add some water as we move along.
So I'll fill it all the way up for you.
If you will. So we know about right here when we look at it, we're saying there's about 8 cups. It depends on the size of your chicken. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put a couple things in there. I'm going to put some salt. Something else I'm going to do, I'm going to put a little poultry seasoning in here.
Yummy.
I'm going to take some pepper. I'm really going to go heavy on the pepper.
Yeah, I like pepper.
You got to have pepper in your chicken and dumplings. Now, as far as other flavors, I'm going to take an onion, and I'm not going to cut it up a bunch because those flavors will cook throughout here. Did we not just?
We ate the whole pot.
And it's been like a year since I made it.
Yeah,
and
it's so delicious.
sometimes
So
we
good.
get so involved in what we're doing, we skip over the things that we make for us.
That's right.
We think, well, everybody knows how to make that. This, I promise you, is fantastic, and it's top secret. So
Yes,
don't
it
tell
is.
anybody. So we're gonna crank that up, turn it on, get it boiling. Then we're gonna cut it back and keep it on a slow and steady boil for about 90 minutes. All right, Ms. Farmer, if you'll knock a hide off these carrots right here. Since we know we've got about an hour and a half to burn, we'll plan accordingly. So we're gonna boil these carrots to make the perfect side for chicken and dumplings.
And healthy. We're eating carrots.
Not the way we're eating.
That's right.
Do you like my shirt?
I do like your shirt.
It's a new shirt.
It's not the one everybody loves, though.
That's true, but I can't wear it on every show.
That's true.
I got complimented on it
Okay,
like 3
yeah,
times.
yeah.
3 times. Now this particular shirt had a hole in it today. I don't know how it happened. A new shirt.
Very
Guess
upset.
who fixed it?
That's right. Don't look too close, because I'm not a
Put a hole
seamstress.
right
Don't
here.
look.
I don't know how it happened. Okay, back to the food. All right, I'm going to tell you about my top secret. These are all top secret recipes. I can't believe I'm giving them out.
I can't either.
Green beans. You want the best green beans in the world? Should I tell them?
Tell them.
All right, first of all, cover them with chicken stock. All right, that's the beginning. Pour out the juice you had with them, whether they're homemade or store-bought. Pour out the juice. Then you got to chop some onions.
Okay.
Now we're going to use about a third of a decent sized onion. Yellow sweet onions. This is the best green bean in the world. And we have served these at so many events.
Oh, yeah.
And every time we've served them, people absolutely dig these. So, we got onions, we got chicken stock, we have the green beans themselves, and now we're gonna have a little bit of bacon grease.
Which we always save, don't we? The good bacon grease.
Bacon grease. Now we're gonna put copious amounts of pepper in there. We're going to use an all-purpose seasoning. I'm going to use quite a bit of that.
That's good.
And if you want to give you a little more salty flavor, you won't even have to put any salt in here if you do this. If you want to use some chicken bouillon, you're on your way to some pretty good beans right there. Now, something that some people do and some people don't. It's up to you. Some people like a little sweet in their beans, and some people don't. If you want a little sugar, it makes it really good.
I think it's good.
If you don't want sugar, that's fine too. Now we're getting to a good boil here, Nikki. So I'm going to turn that down just a hair.
Okay.
And then we're going to cover that up.
Yummy.
You need to keep an eye out. If you walk out of the room, you don't want your chicken foam.
That's right. Make a
Nobody
mess.
likes chicken foam
I don't
on
want to
your
mess
stove.
on my stove. That's right.
So our carrots are boiling away. Now we're going to turn those back. And remember, you want everything to time out accordingly. So we know we got an hour and a half here.
Right.
We got about an hour here. We're going to let those slide on by. And we're going to cook those green beans for at least an hour till those onions really get cooked down and all those flavors begin to marry up. This is a top secret meal here.
Yes, it is.
And this is long overdue. This just might be the perfect country kitchen meal.
Yummy.
I mean, yum papa,
Yeah.
as Sammy would say.
That's right.
So, Mrs. Farmer, the other day, I said, because I'm so skinny, I said I need to plump up a bit.
You did?
I need some good bread.
Yes.
And you said, hey, how about a quick bread, which is a bread that no yeast.
Right.
Can you please make that for our friends out there tonight? Because
I
that
will
was
make
absolutely delicious.
I know. I ate the whole thing.
Now, it's not a white bread per se.
Right.
Oh my gosh. There was something special about that. So if you will, share that with our friends out there so we can have that.
This is a quick bread. When I was young, I remember buying those quick breads at the store, and you could get like a date bread, and all you did was add an egg and water or milk. Well, I thought I need to make my own homemade. And you like oatmeal.
Oh.
So I added oatmeal to this, so it's an easy little throw together. And I had honey that I'm going to use, but the other night when I made yours, I used honey and syrup mix because I was out of honey. Or you could use all syrup. But tonight we're going to use honey. Does that sound good?
Honey for your honey.
That's right.
Sounds good to me.
All right, and how we're going to start, I have a cup of milk.
Right.
And this is vitamin
cup of what?
Cup of milk. And it's vitamin D. You can have anything you want, but if you like skim. And then this is a half a cup of honey.
Ooh, does this mean we're in the land of milk and honey?
Yes, we are.
Right here?
No, the other day I did half and half, or you could do all syrup, but I'm going to do half a cup of honey. And our basic thing is just to get this melted into the milk. And if you'll get me a wooden
the
spoon.
what?
Milk. You're
You
evil.
said milk.
Give me a spoon.
Right.
Milka.
A wooden spoon?
Wooden spoon's perfect, yes.
Right.
And I also have 3 tablespoons of butter. So
Butter
that's my base.
is beautiful.
That's right. So we're going to get this all melted down, and then I'm going to set it aside and let's let it cool a little bit while we do our dry ingredients.
All right, Ms. Farmer, what we got?
All right, I got everything melted together, so I'm going to put it in another pan because I want to let this cool down a little bit because we're going to put an egg in there. We don't want scrambled eggs.
That's true.
That's right. All right, now I'm going to move all this stuff and we're going to put our dry ingredients together.
Gotcha. All right, let's put this chicken through some
turn?
exercises.
Oh, that smells good.
I know it does.
Ooh,
Yeah.
yummy.
Now, I'm eyeballing this, and I'm watching the level. Now, you can see it's dropped a little bit, so I'm going to put a little bit more water in there because I want the end product to still have about 8 cups in there. So I'm going to
Good idea.
come back with a little bit more water. Okay, we have cleaned up some stuff, and now you're ready with your dry ingredients.
I'm going to put my dry ingredients together. I have a cup and a half of flour here.
All right.
I have
This all-purpose flour?
all-purpose flour. I got a half cup of sugar, more
right.
sugar. This is actually 3 teaspoons of baking powder.
Gotcha.
And I stole your salt away because I'm going to need 1 teaspoon of salt.
Gotcha.
That's my base. I'll give you that back for
very
yours
much.
later. And now I have a 1/3 cup of oatmeal. And I added oatmeal to this because I know you love oatmeal.
Oh,
With like your
love
oatmeal
it.
cookies, you got oatmeal issues. And I have 3/4 of a cup of pecans, and I'm gonna chop these up so they can be mixed in the bread. Pecans.
Now this ended up being it looked almost like a wheat bread because of the
All this.
oatmeal and the pecans. Man, oh man, you talk about a perfect side with a little sweetness to it.
Super yum.
Oh, it's just delicious and it's quick. You don't have to let your dough rest. You don't
Right.
have to let anything rise. You just pop it in a pan, put it in the oven, and let it cook.
It is so good. All right. So
Are we
have,
preheating?
yes, we are. I'm at 350, and we're gonna let
350.
it's gonna cook for 45 minutes.
Gotcha. Your mixture has come to room temperature, which means
We need to get that in the oven, don't we?
gotcha.
All right. So last ingredient, 1 egg. I'm gonna go ahead and put this in my main big bowl,
Okay.
and I'm gonna whisk it up. All right. And now this is room temperature.
Gotcha.
As long as it's not hot, because I'm gonna just add this to the egg, and I'll hand you that to get rid of. Thank you. Kind of mix this up.
And is that it as far as the ingredients?
That's it. Now pretty much what I'm gonna do is get the mixer and slowly add our flour to it.
You need a hand or you got it?
If you'd like to, that'd be great.
Well, it
wanna
must
do
be
it?
nice
That's
to have 2 hands like
Yeah,
that.
you could help me, that'd be nice. That's it.
Beautiful. You know, for something that was so complex in flavor, that seems awful simple.
Yes, it does. Now,
Really good.
I've already greased this, and we're just gonna put this into the pan. You smell it? It smells good.
I
Not
remember
even
that
cooked.
smell.
And we're just gonna let this cook for 45 minutes while we're waiting for everything. Get it out, coat it with butter.
Ooh, that's what I'm talking about. It'd be perfect side for this.
That's right. Pop this in the oven.
Ready?
Ready? Let's do it. And if you'll time 45 minutes for me.
Chicken and dumplings.
Right.
There's a lot of people make these different ways. There is no wrong way when you're cooking.
Right.
If you like them fat and fluffy, that's up to you. If you like them skinny and noodly, which we do,
Yes.
that's all good too. We're making that version. We will not come to your house and force you to eat those.
That's right.
Nikki might, I won't.
Right.
So anyhow, Sally, our friend, has 3 ingredient biscuit.
Right.
They're always perfect. We keep that in mind when we cook a lot of things.
Right.
This is the same thing. We're going to show you, we're going to put just a little bit, we'll make it 4 ingredients,
Okay. And one of
a
them.
baking powder in one of them, just to show you the difference. But this is beautiful. What are the 3 ingredients, Miss Farmer?
And guess what? I get to use my lard. And look how much I've used already. We just
And here is a little bit of footage of us cooking down massive quantities of pasture-raised leaf lard from a pig, which is good stuff.
Yes, it is. All right, so I'm gonna need a tablespoon and a half in each of this. I have a half a cup of flour because I've divided it because we're gonna try 2 different ways. And I always gotta use the lard.
Now, if you were doing a huge batch, you would double this recipe.
Oh, yeah.
But for us, this is about all we're going to need here.
Now I'm gonna do 2 separate. So we can do one with baking powder and one without. Buttermilk, Sally says always buttermilk.
Absolutely.
So I have a third with this half a cup of flour and I have a tablespoon and a half of lard, 1/3 cup of buttermilk. And now we made these a little bit ahead of time because I think it's when you put them in the fridge and let them sit.
Does not hurt.
Yeah.
Does not hurt at all.
And it's easier to roll them out, I think. So we're gonna go ahead and get that all nice. All right, before I get my hands all dirty, I'm gonna go ahead and add a little bit of baking powder here.
This is in the orange dish.
That's right. We got
Remember
about
the orange dish.
an 1/8 of a teaspoon here. See if that's gonna make a little bit of a difference. Let's see if it makes those a little bit bigger.
Now again, Dad and his friends, some of his southern friends, call these slickums.
Slick them.
I like them thin and really doughy, noodly,
Yeah,
I guess
yes.
you could say. And again, some people like the thick, fluffy ones. You could do that too, but this tonight is the way I loved them as a kid.
All right, so let's remember the orange bowl is the one with the baking powder in it,
Absolutely.
so we don't get it messed up.
Now, when we drop this in and we combine everything together, these are only going to go for about 10 or 11 minutes and they're done. So again, she's going to pop them in the fridge and we'll come back to this.
Pretty good?
It's almost time for a short break.
Yes, it is.
What kind of snack can we have?
Do you need cookies?
Oh, I wish we had some. You know what? Have we done cookies on the show?
I don't think
Kelly,
we-
have we done cookies on the show? Kelly says twice. So you know what that means?
Time for some
I
cookies?
need some cookies. Ooh, Mrs. Farmer, can you make me some cookies?
I can make you cookies.
All right, bread's baking at 350, starting to rise, looking good. Carrots are about done. I've just turned them on low. The beans still cooking away because I want to let them go for about an hour and get those onions, those sweet yellow onions cooked down. Those go in the fridge.
Baking powder? No baking powder.
Orange.
You got it? You gonna remember it? I'll forget. Extra. So you remember. You're in charge.
All right. Pop those in the fridge and we'll be right back.
Let's give it like 10 minutes and then we'll pop it out and sit it. What do you think? Oh,
that's beautiful.
I want some.
Oh, it smells like heaven in here. You know, it really shook me up when we got that message the other day from that nice young lady who's from California and said, I looked and there's no chicken and dumpling recipe. I thought, oh no, not a proper chicken and dumpling recipe. This is the real deal right here.
This is amazing.
And I said this earlier in the show, I'll say it again. There's really no shortcuts here. You got to boil your chicken. You absolutely have to boil a fresh chicken.
Yeah.
Because if you get the store-bought, I mean, you can make chicken and dumplings from store-bought broth, but no, you're not like this. You're not going to get that flavor. All right, speaking of that, I'm going to turn the chicken off.
Okay.
Take the top off, and you can see it's coming away from the bone.
That looks good.
Okay, so let's get this bird out of here very carefully.
Oh, he's draining.
Oh, he's falling apart.
Perfect.
Now, I can tell our liquid has gone down, but that's going to be enough to do what we've got to do.
Yeah.
We're making a batch just for us, so that'll be fine. And we're still going to have at least 1.5 quarts in there, maybe just a little bit more. Ideally, if you're making a bigger batch, you'd want about 2 quarts, but this is going to be fine. Let that set a minute. We're going to start picking this when it cools down, but Mrs. Farmer, we have some dumplings to cut.
Yes, we do.
Now, which one's the one with the baking powder in it?
The orange.
Let's get them out.
All right.
Roll them out. All right, while you're doing that, I'm going to take these carrots out and carefully cut them in proper size. Now, if you wanted to, you could use canned carrots, but we're doing everything fresh tonight. And we're going to make sweet, to me, the perfect side for chicken and dumplings with some sweet carrots. And there's ways to sweeten them up. You can have them without anything. You can put a little butter on them. But we're going to make an old family recipe that I discovered a few years ago. Couldn't get our granddaughter to eat her vegetables.
That's right. Didn't like carrots.
Didn't like carrots. So we came up with a recipe called CarROOTs. And she said, well, what is a CarROOT? I said, well, here, just try it. Just try a tiny little bite. And amazingly enough, she liked CarROOTs.
She did. And to this day, she likes CarROOTs. I think she finally knows what they are.
What happens when you combine brown sugar, pure maple syrup, and butter? Why, it's going to be really good, regardless of what you put in it. That is our CarROOT recipe, and you'll see what it looks like here in a minute. It's a perfect side for this. I'm also going to strain the onions and the celery out. When that sets, for, I don't know, 15 minutes or so, once it cools down a little bit, I'm going to strain some of that fat off the top because I want this to be nice and pure and beautiful and wonderful. Now, we have our broth back on, and I'm going to put a little bit of heat under that. I've got a low heat on my carrots. Oh, excuse me, my CarROOTs.
CarROOTs, that's right.
I'm going to put me some butter in there.
How to put half a stick to a stick.
I'm going to take some brown sugar, and I'm just putting equal parts. I'm not sure how much I'm putting here. Let's say a tablespoon and a half apiece.
I'd say it's a 1/4 cup, I think.
And here's the 100% pure maple syrup. What is the ingredient? The ingredient, you notice I said ingredient, to pure maple syrup, Mrs. Farmer?
Maple syrup. Syrup.
It is sap.
Oh, just sap.
From a tree, from a maple tree.
Okay, that's true.
That's all there is. And well, let's just show you some footage here. Here's some trees that we tapped, the maple tree. Here is the large amount of sap that we got from the tree.
We did get a lot.
Then you take this and you cook it down and you reduce it down and you reduce it down and you reduce it down. And so what you've got is 40 gallons of sap.
And what's that get you, a 1/4 cup of syrup?
Equals a very small amount of pure syrup, but you know what? It's worth it.
You were very patient. I didn't have the patience. And I see why it's expensive in the store.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You go to the store and say, why am I paying so much for pure syrup? Because it's laborious. Is that a word?
That's a word.
Laborious. So we're cooking this down, low temperature. I'll turn it up just a little bit. Our beans are done.
They look good.
When you start seeing the moisture cooked out of that and all those flavors, oh.
And you see I took my bread out and set it there just to look pretty.
Look at that beautiful bread.
Make it look pretty for us.
And what are you going to call that again?
That is my honey oatmeal pecan bread.
Quick bread.
Yeah, cooked bread. Yeah.
This is the quintessential Tim Farmer's Country Kitchen perfect Southern meal.
Yes, it is.
Is this not beautiful?
It is beautiful.
I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead. You can
help
help
you?
me, Mrs. Farmer.
These are CarROOTs in there.
Get everything in there. Now, if you've had any kind of candied sweet potatoes or anything like that,
These are
it'll
amazing.
put you in mind of that. And we're just going to let those become acquainted in that beautiful CarROOT sauce. It's time to pick the chicken. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start grabbing. Let's see what we got here. It's cooled down enough to where I can start grabbing. I'm going to take that over here. I'm going to get rid of the skin. So here's how I'm going to cut my chicken up. I'm going to cut my chicken up. And you notice I've got mostly white meat here. Now I prefer dark meat anytime with chicken. But for chicken and dumplings, I usually use the breast meat first. And I'm supposing we're probably going to need about, I don't know exactly, but probably about 1.5 cups, 2 cups of chicken here. Okay, while you're cutting dumplings, I'm going to put some Teller cherry pepper in here. You can use as much of this as you want, and it will not heat things up. It's more sweet.
It's good
In
pepper.
fact, it has a few citrusy notes in it. It's hard to explain if you've never tried it. All right, on this side, we're going to put the ones without.
This is the without. That's right.
And see if you can see a noticeable difference. This is the way I like them right here. Slickums. We're going to drop those in here. I've got the temperature back up. Almost any chicken brothy recipe, chicken soup, chicken and noodles, chicken and dumplings. If you want to put a little sweet, dry basil in there, doesn't it really add something, Nikki?
That sounds
a little
good,
sweetness
yes.
and a little great flavor. Put a little in the top here. Now these are with
With.
the baking powder.
Let's see what we get.
So these I have found, I've timed them. Generally, if you keep these in the 10, 11, 12 minute range, you're doing just about right. Now I've noticed almost immediately these ones with the baking powder are popping to the top, Nikki.
Really? Really?
Isn't that something?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, look at these. Now look at the difference. Look at the difference here. Now see, that's the way I like them, almost like a noodle. And these over here have a little bit of puff.
Do you want some more?
Yep. I like them all. That makes me very happy. You know, you get your chicken and dumplings and there's a consistency that you look for. And it's very simple to make that and make it perfect. What you're gonna do is take some flour and water. Now we've got more part flour than we got water here. And I'm gonna turn this around, Miss Farmer, and you just roll that in.
Alrighty.
And I'm gonna mix that up. I'm gonna mix that in until we thicken up. Now our CarROOTs are basking in their glory. The green beans are cooked down.
They look good.
All that moisture has cooked into them. So we're about ready to plate up here, Miss Farmer. We've got 4 more minutes.
All right.
Let's clean this mess up. We'll plate up, and we're gonna come back with some good eating.
Yay.
Look at that, Miss Farmer.
Oh, wow.
Look how that thickened up. See that consistency?
Oh, it's
there?
so good.
Oh, you go first.
All right, I'm gonna try carrot.
And this is the slickums. That's what I like. Look how doughy and bready that is.
Oh wow, beans.
Like to me, now that might be too thin for some people. That's the perfect one for me.
Well, that's a big noodle.
Dumpling. That might be the perfect meal, Mrs. Farmer. Now I got to try a bite of your bread. I absolutely love your bread. It's got a little sweet. It's almost like dessert.
I super buttered it. Super butter. Are good?
Oh. Without honey.
I could have that for breakfast. That's my breakfast.
Now the ones with the bacon powder, they're just a little bit thicker. And that's fine too. I like the fact that they didn't get huge. So they're both good. If you want a little
Delicious.
bit more. Oh, Miss Farmer.
That's
I
good.
want to eat all that. I'm going to eat all that in a minute. But first, there's people saying, oh my goodness, Mr. and Mrs. Farmer, where in the world would you get those recipes? And Miss Farmer, where would you go?
I go to timfarmerscountryKitchen.com.
And we're talking to people from all over the world. We had people the other day from all over the world, literally, asking where they were from, and they showed us.
Yeah.
How do you get on our Facebook page? terribly complicated. What do
It
you
is.
do?
You hit like.
You're kidding me.
Like, it's really hard.
So come be our friend.
That's right.
We'll talk cooking. We'll talk about the old days. We'll talk about the new days coming up. We'll talk about everything. But Mrs. Farmer, if we don't eat,
You gotta
we'll
let me
perish.
eat. I know I need to eat.
So we'll wrap it up by saying it's all about
Good times
good friends.
and good eats.
We'll see you next week on Tim Farmer's Country Kitchen.
I want to eat.
But now I'm going to eat. We have been catering for a lot of years, and I wanted everything to have a specific taste. Therefore, I had to come up with my own products.
Right.
A dry rub, chow chow, and our barbecue sauce are something that we use in all our catering gigs. I developed this barbecue sauce that is not the really thick, syrupy stuff that you get. This has more of a natural, it's got some pepper and onion flavor in it. You can actually see the particulates in there. You know, a lot of people are asking what we use our dry rub on. Now, obviously, pork and chicken are two of the more common things. Also, we've been using on our corn on the cob with butter.
That is.
I'm telling you, this
That's
stuff
wonderful.
with potatoes is fantastic. So 40 years in the making, Tim Farmer's Country Kitchen Dry Rub.
Funding for Tim Farmer's Country Kitchen is brought to you by Emerson Farms Country Store. Something for every member of the family. Ephraim McDowell Medical Center in Danville, Kentucky. Gulf Coast Connection. Seafood straight from the Gulf to you. The Spine Center of Central Kentucky. Wilderness Road Hospitality, Stanford, Kentucky. Visit Frankfort, Kentucky's spirited capital city.